Hello everybody, it's your boy Mark here, and we're going to be playing more SC2VN. In the last episode, we were finally given a chance after some big drama and publicity came up about the new team. And then we had a chance for Mr. Kim with a show match offer with between me and Bolt. And now we are in a practice match with Reva to see how we can get better at the game after playing with Mr. Yan from the Go Mart at a game of Go. How ironic. But other than that, we're going to be jumping right back in. So let's do it. Your APM is low. I wince and respond with a flurry of unnecessary keystrokes. I've never cracked 300 APM, even when I'm focused on doing so. A minute or two passes without comments, even though it's hard to tell whether or not that means she thinks I'm playing well. Your engineering bays are late. Are they? They are. Damn it. I whip my mouse hard, box a pair of SCVs, and slam down the two delayed structures. I check his army composition with a scan and decide I'm ready to challenge him. Delayed upgrades or not, I managed to keep a close enough eye on my opponent's tech that I have a massive swell of Vikings by the time his Colossus come into play. His army gets caught in an awkward position when he tries to establish his third base, allowing me to power forward into his base. It's a win I'd normally celebrate with a self-assured smile. But with Rave over my shoulder, I'm forced to feign humility in my victory. I turn towards her and motion towards the screen. Well, what do you think? She adjusts her glasses and purses her lips, taking a long moment to decide on a response. He was bad, but you capitalized on his mistakes, so I have no major complaint. A good player won't let you obtain free information. Use your scans wisely. I thought I used them pretty well, didn't I? Scouting is one of the things I'm best at. Not particularly, and she always aimed to be even better. I grumble and turn to queue up another game. Yet another thing to focus on, I guess. I had thought that Reva's low-key attitude might have made her a little bit lenient with my mistakes, but she's not all that different from Jet, minus how she delivers her criticism. My next match is on the largest map in the current ladder pool. I'll have a pretty easy time defending my expansions with the way that the map's choke points are constructed. Rather than poke and prod with Marines or go for early aggression, I throw down with a quick third base in far-flung corner of the map shortly. I begin my natural expansion. Pulling off this kind of tactic is extremely rewarding if it goes unscouted. I'm practically guaranteed to win. Why are you doing that? Practice something useful. I shift my gaze aside Reva uncomfortably close to both me and the monitor. What if I decide to hide an expansion against Bolt? Are you going to risk the team on a coin flip? Cancel it and aim for a long game. Reva offered the advice too firm to be called suggestion, and I find myself moving the mouse to do as instructed. This gaff is going to set me back a fair bit. I gear up for a drawn-out match by focusing on my upgrades and base defense. It's not long before my Protoss opponent and I have split the map in half and are jockeying for the position. Build more defenses. You can afford a dozen planetary fortresses. Is that really necessary? Mach, your opponent is Protoss. Protoss players will stop at nothing to cheat an honest Terran out of an earned win. Funny, I typically image balance and whiner is as loud as obnoxious in real life. I wonder if she quit playing random out of guilt. Still, I oblige her to cram as many static defense structures as I can into a vital choke point. There's an observer over your army. I squint to find that she's right. Damn, how did I not catch that earlier? With a scan, I pick off the Protoss scout and reposition my units. It takes a few minutes to adjust my army composition to one that better suits the extreme late game, but I'm soon ready to clash with my opponent. At this point, StarCraft becomes less about strategy and more about patience. It's important to know when to stalk and when to pounce. I sense an opening at last and rush into my opponent's weak flank. Out of the corner of my eye, I can see Reva tensing up, invested as much as I am in the outcome of battle. But as I might, my snipes don't connect with the High Templar scattered against my Protoss army. He drowns my units in a Psy Storm and steamrolls down the center of the map, destroying my constructed defenses along the way. I struggle pointlessly to mount a counteroffensive, but the damage is done. I'm forced to tap out a GG and quit the match with a huff. He controlled his army better than you did. I spin my chair to face Reva with a frown. If he didn't, I would have won. That was so close. Yes, it was. But at least she can concede the point of my credit. It's deserved. But damn, that match took a while. As long as go with Mr. Eon, if not longer. What time do you need to leave? Are you throwing me out? What? No, I'm just saying if you need to be home at a certain time, let me know. I do not. Okay. Sheesh. Why does talking to her feel so unnatural? This has to be intentional on her part. I need a break. Your opponents will use every wasted moment to become better than you. Breaks are dangerous. Just a short one. I'm thirsty anyway. We'll be back on the ladder with a vengeance afterwards. I'm actually thirsty too, so I'm gonna take one moment to run, fill my water bottle that's right there, and I'm gonna parch my own thirst, I guess. Well, unparch my own thirst. Okay. Just a short one. I'm thirsty anyway. We'll be back on the ladder with a vengeance afterwards. Thirsty, I see. My fist clenches involuntarily as I reach for a can, nearly forcing me to knock it over. I offer Reva an exhausted look before cracking open my drink. Not to be outdone, I take a poised sip before glancing casually in her direction. So, why do you pretend to be a guy on the internet? Now it's Reva's turn to tense up. Her face contorts, eyes glancing over as scanning her internal database for a scathing comeback. 404, comeback not found. I do no such thing. Details of my private life are just kept so private. Others simply assume. Well, that's all coming to an end if we're going to be on Team Enoch, isn't it? I suppose. You say about living in a team house? As long as it is being paid for, yes. Oh, in it for that esports money, eh? Of course, since primary school, I've dreamed of my own bunk bed and free cup of noodles. Reva's refreshingly realistic about pro gamer living conditions. Maybe she can talk some sense into stunt. To be frank, anything is better than life back at home. Oh, trouble with your parents? No, my parents worked hard to give me opportunities they never had, and for that I'll always be grateful. But they live far from Seoul, so I was isolated from my friends for most of my life. You mean your online friends? Yes, but now I have the chance to make my own way. I take pride in the fact that I have turned all my skills into a living, no matter how meager. You should be. Most people living off StarCraft do it with the support of a team, but you've managed on your own. You have the right to be proud. Maybe, but sometimes even though I'm unhappy with my accomplishments, I lack the confidence to devote more of myself to this game. Really? I wouldn't have expected to hear something like that from you. Why? I don't know, you kind of seem like resolute types. No regrets, that sort of thing. I'm bad at putting into words my impression of Reva, but she seems to understand what I mean by the nod she offers. You are correct, I always give full effort into my pursuits. However, this is not a matter of regret. Normally, I can be satisfied even in failure if I have done my best. But what if the task was not worth working towards in the first place? What do you mean? Esports is like anything else, isn't it? It's a climb to the top. It is, but StarCraft is inherently less valuable than most other things. Art, athletics, education, science, a corporate career. Objectively, my time is better spent on almost anything other than pro gaming. But I do not believe I can truly distinguish myself at any other of those things, while it is possible as a pro gamer. I was born in the right country, I am the correct age, I have enough required talent. Even then, it is not logical for me to spend so much time and effort on what should statistically prove unrewarding. Yet, I cannot bring myself to turn down the chance to compete. Oh, jeez, Reva. I am metaphorically feeling you too well on that. Whew. Jesus. It's kind of how I feel with college right now. Okay, that's a little too honest. I have the same drive, so I can understand at least that, but you really won't do something if you can't be your best at it. And the way you talk about your motivation. Do you even like StarCraft? No, I don't. She answers bluntly, then looks away. I have nothing to say to that. High-level StarCraft isn't always fun in the traditional sense of the word, but it sounds like Riva genuinely doesn't enjoy the game. For her to be as good as she is without holding back, with that holding her back is hard to understand. StarCraft's greatest players have always credited their love the game as a major factor in their success. How far can she hope to go without that advantage? Silence filling the space between us, Reva takes the opportunity to try out the drink I bought for her. On the first taste, she screws her face up and hurries to set it down. How can you stand something so sugary? I shrugged, since I don't have a good answer. It's not like I can explain why something tastes good. Where are you living if not with your parents? Do you know what a Goshuan is? No way. Really? It's a term that showed up in some of my online lessons. If I remember correctly, it's an absurdly tiny apartment, literally the size of a closet, with a low price to match. I live on the edge of Seoul, so rent is inexpensive. I pay with my winnings from online tournaments. Matches on the last week of every month, if I have not hit my quota, can be very stressful. That has been my life since I graduated from high school. Damn, you don't mind the lack of space? I do. I am enjoying the chance to stretch well while it lasts. She demonstrates by falling back into my bed, fully extending her legs. I shake my head and try not to laugh. Oh, my phone's fully charged. It'll last. The team house will be a nice upgrade for the both of us. Reva sits up and rests her arms over my knees. On her knees. Break time is over. Return to the ladder. Alright. I spin my chair backwards towards my computer and resume my training. The blue light from my computer monitor shines in Reva's glasses. Her advice and my grumbling, all of that is said between us. The matches bleed into each other, one foe falling after another. I'm in a Protoss slaying groove. I don't often find myself on winning streaks on ladder. Part of me wonders if I'm playing this one only to impress her. Reva goes quiet in the middle of a particularly intense game, leaving only the sounds of my keyboard and mouse clicks to mingle with the game sounds blasting through my headphones. I managed to prolong my win streak with a multi-pronged attack that forces my opponent to tap out. With a triumphant grin, I push off the desk in turn. Boom! 3 and find that Reva has fallen asleep on duty. Well, that explains why she didn't point out that my dropships were delayed. Is it really that late? I rest my hand against my cheek. Should I wake her up and tell her to go home? She looks too peaceful for me to do that in good conscience. I can just sleep on the floor, I guess. I bunch up a hoodie from my dresser into a makeshift pillow and ease myself onto the space under my desk. The ground isn't exactly comfortable, but with enough shifting around, I can find a decent spot. Not long after, my eyelids grow heavy and sleep claims me. Oh, that's fun. A great night together. I'm on the floor. Why am I on the floor? The trash on my desk is gone and my bed is made. I literally never made my bed. Right, Reva. When I stand, an ache in my back forces me to wince. It's nothing serious, but I must have turned over in my sleep onto a weird angle. A text message from Reva awaits me when I check my phone for the time. I apologize for falling asleep. I'll see you later. Tense, as I expect to see her. I lock my phone screen and slip it in my pocket. Oh geez, it's almost 10 o'clock. Not my time, their time. Sorry. Whew. The week ahead is going to be tough. 6 days probably isn't enough time for any sort of serious breakthrough in terms of my mechanics or game sense. Was long enough to craft a game plan that might edge out Bolt. My biggest issue with the matchup is that I have no idea what to expect from him. How does a Brood War player go about learning StarCraft 2? Maybe I should ask Jed or so. Whether the case, the team is probably waiting for me like on zone fire. I should hurry over. Morning, Mock. Morning. An oblivious stunt fails to notice my arrival. He's too focused on his white whale. Where's Jet? Trying to wrangle some of Bolt's replays, I guess. We couldn't find him at the Shock Team house yesterday, so I spent the rest of the evening moving out of the crash house. That sounds awkward. You're not wrong. Well, Raven's probably going to be late today. She probably needs to go back home after. I try and fail to stop myself in time. The allure of Pop Pop Safari now fails to hold Stunt's attention. She slept at your place? Did you bang her? Oh, Stunt. No, it wasn't anything like that. We just practiced. Oh, genius moves. Ow, okay, sheesh. I follow up the shoulder punch with a pat and take note of Esel's serious expression. Mock, you didn't actually do anything, right? No, I didn't. Good. Don't get involved with your teammates. Why? Seriously? I'm sure you can figure out this one on your own. Trust me, Esel would know. He would know. Oh jeez, he probably has stories. If you break up, things get awkward. If you get together, things get awkward. If you break up, the team loses a player. It's bad news, even in the best case scenario. She came over to watch me ladder. It got late and she fell asleep during a long game. That's all. Then there's no problem. Being a coach means that I get to deal with fun stuff like telling you who you can't and can't date. Stunt's hand slinks for his phone, but Esel snaps for attention before the Protoss can get back to tapping red animal bubbles. Enough, Stunt. Time for practice. Mock, you too. Right. By noon, my wrists are sore from a morning of anti-rush defense. Without anything specific to practice against, Stunt slammed me with the game after game of proxy gates, cannon rushes, and one-base all-ins. I feel prepared in the incredibly unlikely case that Bolt risks the match on something like a 2-gate. Stunt's a one-note Protoss, but he plays that note pretty damn well. Can you try something else for a change? My brain is starting to fry. Heh, I'm not even warmed up yet. You're only able to defend against these builds because you're expecting them. Obviously, the point of a cheese is to catch the opponent off guard. What's the point of cheesing when it's literally all you can do? You don't understand. Cheesing is an art. An art I will be the first to master. Serious though, Mock needs to prepare for more than just your one-base all-ins. Try standard for a change. He's gonna be trash at standard. Fine. Just then, Jet steps through the doors of Golden Zone Fire at a fierce pace, saving me from more of Stunt's abusive builds. But the relief I feel at her arrival shatters when I catch the figure at her heels. Before I can form a question at Bolt's presence, both he and Jet are standing before us. She shoots an annoyed glance at him before speaking. He insists on speaking with you before he would agree to play. Bolt lifts his chin at me, savoring the moment. I need something from him, a show match, and he's well aware of the power it grants him. So, Mach, still desperate to make a name of yourself? I match his aloof expression with a hard one, determined to show that he can't intimidate me. Our sponsor needs a demonstration of the team's potential. It's not about me. Don't kid yourself. This is all about you. I'd be facing Jet, Estelle, or the one who wannabe dishwashers your managed. Or one of the wannabe dishwashers you managed to clown into signing it if it wasn't. Do you think I haven't read what they're saying online? I draw in a sharp breath. To Bolt's amusement, he shakes out of his wrist and offers a shrug. I normally have better things to do than play out a show match in a lesser game, but hey, you've caught me at a good time. My next Brood War match isn't for a few weeks. Just got enough time to brush up on my SC2 and ship you back across the Pacific. Did you know that my team manager won't even let me play Star 2 in the Shock Team house? They say it's distracting to the other players. I reach for another calming breath, but find myself choking on rage instead. It's that smile of his. What, so you came here to talk trash? Quit wasting my time and accept the match. I accept. And I'll do you one better than you'll do me. Catch. Pulls out something from his pocket and tosses it at me. My reflexes don't fail me, and I snag the small black object in midair. When I open my hand, it's a thumb drive. What? 50 replays. Study them all if you like. You'll have no excuse when you lose. By the way, Jet, let me give you a tip. Next time you go behind my back for replays, don't just try to get them from someone who shares my feelings on your opportunist bullshit. Your foreigner mascot is lucky that I'm feeling generous. With an infuriating air of superiority, Bolt turns to leave. My teammates visibly share my frustration, but none of them rush to my defense. Maybe it's for a good reason. I can't keep relying on Jet or Estelle to bail me out of trouble. Beating Bolt isn't their responsibility. It's mine. Hey, Bolt. He turns, mild surprise showing on his face when I flick the thumb drive out of my hand at his feet. I won't lose to you again. Remember it. Tell yourself that. He shows his teeth in a smirk and crushes the flash drive under his heel. Just like you told yourself you could really qualify for VSL. Ugh. Bits of plastic and metal are all that remains of the USB when he lifts his foot to continue his way out. The tension remains long after Bolt's departure. Finally, Jet enters my personal space, eyes sharp and locked with mine. Why did you do that? We needed his replays. Sal steps forward and places his hand on Jet's shoulder. Bolt was trying to get into Mach's head. You know that, Jet. It was the right call. Dang, he didn't really feel like leaning over to pick it up, huh? Those things are like 10,000 won. The quip earns him a perplexed stare from Jet and Estelle. I'm too distracted to even react. Whatever. Mach, if you're going to be a showman, save it for when it'll gain you some fans. That gives me an idea for a ceremony after you beat this guy. Give me like 10 flash drives and... Hey, Stunt, I've got a better idea for the ceremony. We sign a contract with Enoch and move into our team house. How's that sound? That's not as funny as what I had in my mind. Enough banter. Back to practicing. Can we take a break or something? I need a minute. We don't have a minute, especially without replays. Practice. Now. I quietly follow Stunt's lead. towards the PCs. Sal and Jet move in and take their seats behind us. From the top, and no rushes, stunt. I have absolutely no clue how anyone can practice for more than 10 hours a day. My wrists ache, my eyes hurt, my subconscious won't consider anything but unit compositions and attack timings, and I can't get Bolt's stupid smirk out of my head. Worse still, with Jet forcing Stunt to play standard, our practice wasn't productive at all. She didn't seem happy with me when she left to meet with the producers at the VSL studio, but after so many games, it's impossible for me to focus. What are we supposed to do? Reva doesn't seem like she's in practice for any race but Terran. Do I even have a chance against Bolt? Did I ever in the first place? Dude, how does anyone macro? It's boring, exhausting. It makes you consider zillion variables. Economy and management is so stupid. You just described what StarCraft is supposed to be, minus the boring part. Well, I don't like it. I'm at my best when I can focus on microing. Who says I should have to play a game past the 10-minute mark? No one, as long as you're okay with an awful win rate. Ugh. With practice done for the day, I agreed to join Sal and Stunt for dinner while Jet deals with logistics and set up for the next match. I'm led down a smoky side of the street where greasy and fragrant smells mingle. My experience with street food so far haven't been great, but I trust the judgment of Stunt and Sal. Row after row of stalls are thick with customers clamoring for a hot meal. The three of us browse our various offers before Stunt insists on one in particular. Do you like bean dai teak mak? I don't know how to say that. Bean dai teak mak. That's my best guess. Bean dai teak mak. Diat te mak. Bean da e teak. Biande teak. Sure, yeah, whatever's fine. The single cook manning the stall, it cleaves through customer orders faster than I think possible. It isn't long before we're walking away from the stall, paper-wrapped pancake in hand. We settle for a seat on the curb, far enough away from the foot traffic to avoid being trampled. Reva's going to run into trouble with Jet if she doesn't show at Golden Zone Fire again this week. She can only help Mock so much. Besides, it's not like she can ship out on practice at the team house. Have you ever been inside a team house, Stunt? The Protoss forces down his food with a thump at his chest. No, but I've seen pictures. It's an informal setting. It's hard to sleep or slack off, but the type of people that don't become pro gamers, or at least don't last long as one. We still don't have any subs. Is that going to be a problem? Let's worry about one thing at a time. There won't be much need for subs if we don't do our best this week. Still, the team is tiny. 5 people, including management. Jet wasn't kidding when she said she wanted a lean team. The sudden thought of a team Goshiwan is almost enough to make me smile. Yo, Estelle, what did you do with all your prize money from Brood War? That's kind of a personal question, isn't it? I don't mind answering. Spent half it on general living expenses and stuff for my family. The rest I've got saved. Lame. What's the point of winnings if you don't spend them? I've earned 40 million won or san, not counting salary. That may sound like a lot, but it's easy to go through. Wow. Huge loogie. Sorry. I just spat into a ramen bag. Editor Mark, cut this part out. I've earned 40 million won or so, not counting salary. That may sound like a lot, but it's easy to go through if you aren't responsible. Deaf to the sense Cell is trying to talk into him, Stunt stares off into space with stars in his eyes. If I won VSL Grand Final, I'd buy a car, a house, a new PC. He continues rattling off a list of a dozen superfluous objects in a way that only someone who has lived without worrying about paying rent can. Cell and I both take the chance to eat without interruption. Jet still got the 100 million won from the first VSL champion, yeah? That plus some, probably. Why? I wonder if I could convince her to trick out the team house. Feel free to ask. Just make sure that I'm there for a reaction. What about you, Mock? What would you do with your big winnings? I don't know, save it or something? And I thought that only the chicks of our team were boring. Don't forget that all the time you spend climbing StarCraft's ladder, someone else spends climbing the corporate ladder. If you're only in the esports for money, just get a real job. Psh, it's no big deal. After I make it big as the next Protoss, bonjour. I get a real job as a coach or a team owner. I've got it all planned out. There's no convincing Stunt at this rate. Not that I can blame him. I wasn't any more responsible when I was his age. Yeah. When we're young, we're kind of dumb. Alright, with that statement to think about, I hope you all enjoyed the episode. We went through a lot of story, and again, because this is like another double length episode, but other than that, I hope you all enjoyed the video, so please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for any future videos I upload. And other than that, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Toodles!